everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And yes, I want to wish you all a happy new year. I pray that this year is one that is filled with all the joys and all the laughter and every good thing that we desire in Jesus' name. So today, we have a special guest. So for the first time, somebody is going to be appearing on this space. I have my friend, I have my sister, Joanna. She's a barrister a soon to be barrister. See, I have so many barristers in my space, so if you do anyhow, you go collect.
That's interesting.
Right, so I have Joanna with me. Yeah, so Joanna, say hi
Hi,
to everyone.
nice to meet you guys.
Yes, so
It's a privilege to be, the first guest on this. I'm glad doing this with you.
it's a privilege to have you. I'm excited. Right? So, like I said, I have so many lawyers in my space. So, if people just try me, you collect this year. Okay, on a lighter note. So, today we're going to be talking about something very, something that is of great importance. Because, as young people, sometimes in life, in fact, not sometimes we get to experience certain things that sometimes weigh us down. So today I have Joanna here with me, and I'll be talking on how to handle pressure. So I'll be asking Joanna some questions, actually, to like share with us, from our bowl of experiences. Right, how she's been able to handle pressure, as students, as young adults, and basically how to deal with pressures, because there are times when we are faced with challenges and situations where we are just weighed down by how we feel. In fact, even as Nigerian students, Nigeria on its own itself, living in this country is enough pressure. Right? It's enough pressure on its own. So now, coupled with other things, there's school. For those persons that are working, there's work. You have to deal with work. You have to deal with school. There are other activities too. There's church too. For those of us that are Christians, that have to go to church and other religious activities, right? So the ability to be able to combine all these things together, where you have your school work shouldn't suffer, and your social life should not suffer as well, and as a Christian, your spiritual life should not suffer too. So the ability to strike a balance between all these things, even when you are faced with pressure. So that's what I'll be talking about today with Joanna, and I want her to share her own experience, right? As a Nigerian student. As a Nigerian student, in this country now, we know how it is. Not easy, but God is ever faithful, and He continue to be faithful. So, Joanna, share with us. I want to know, and I'm sure they want to know too. How you've been able to, handle pressure over time, right?
Well, first of all, about handling pressures. To be honest, I'm not the best in handling pressures, but I'm going to try. Okay, first of all, I try my best to just remove myself from everything that is called pressure. Now, where I cannot even avoid the pressure, most times I take my space. I am one person that loves my space so much, because one, it makes it easy for me to access God. It makes it easy for me to pray. It makes it easy for me to sit down and read, study. It makes it easy for me to just have my mind down, where I can think, where my mind is open to different things. But, as pressure, I agree with also sleeping. That's one thing I do. And where I've probably slept and it's like the pressure is still that hard, or is still weighing down on me, I take walks. I love walks in the rain, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I love.
I really like to get wet.
I actually do. I love the rainy season. I love it. When you say I love something, I love the cold. I love when I'm cold, because it makes it's like a time of unwinding for me when the weather is cold, because heat sometimes even it worsens my pressure. So when I'm in cold, now I cannot even say what worsens my pressure, whether heat or noise. but I know I don't do well in heat. So I love the cold. Where there is cold, I can think. I love it. It just makes me happy. It gives this happiness that comes from nowhere. So when it's raining and I know I'm pressurized, I go under the rain. I go under the rain
So if
for the
there's no
purpose
rain,
of
what
getting.
happens?
For the purpose, I go to take a shower.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just sometimes I even want it on my hair. So most times, I pour the water on my hair and leave my hair open to dry because I just want that breeze on my head. I want, and yeah, that's taking walks. So it makes my taking walks very, very easy. When there is no rain and I want to take walks, I just put in my earpiece and take those walks. So somebody can be calling me outside and I wouldn't hear. One thing I'm only conscious of when I'm walking with very loud speakers on are that vehicles are passing, and I have to be very conscious that okay, I'm not hearing anything aside what I'm listening to. So it's like I have to like be checking the back several times to see there is no vehicle, there is no bike at my back, and it's like most times I can take up to like 30 minutes walks, up to like 45 minutes walks because I want to calm down actually.
Really?
Yeah. So taking walks makes me, and yeah, well, I've sweated it out. So yes, I have a reason to go into the bathroom and take my bath. So after taking those,
I'm sorry. Let me cut you there. Right here. Okay, so I feel like the kind of pressure you're talking about is, I don't know. Okay. Whatever kind of pressure. So bottom line is you're saying that when you feel, like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, you take walks.
Yes, sometimes
and preferably in the rain.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so
in the night, why?
so
So that I don't look like I'm mad. When I start talking like I'm talking to God.
I know, right? Okay, so for you
Yeah.
now, you're saying that when you feel so overwhelmed, when you are what's the word now? I don't remember the word, but when you feel overwhelmed, literally, you take walks, right? You take walks and you just like talk to God about it.
Yeah.
Right.
When I'm not listening to music, yes.
Okay, you listen to music too.
Yeah.
Okay. Now okay, let me paint a scenario, right? Okay, say for instance, as a Christian student, as a Christian Nigerian student, in university, and of course, most times your classmates and your colleagues around you might not necessarily understand your faith as a child of God, and they will not understand your stance, so to say. Like, take for instance, where you have to write exams, you want to write exams in school, and then they feel like, okay, we're supposed to help each other out, so to say. Some people, they call it help in quotes. We're supposed to help each other out. So I tell you what I know, you tell me what I know, and you have somewhat made it known to them that it's against your stance. You're not supposed to do that. And then everybody in the class or everybody in the department now sees you as the bad person, and they are starting to speak ill about you. Of course, Christian or not, first of all, before you're a Christian, you're a human.
True.
Do you understand? True. You're a human being and you have feelings. So it is the grace of God, that gives us, the power to overlook certain things that happen to us sometimes. So imagine you are faced, you're in that kind of situation, and then the pressure is so much
On me.
Yeah, on you, and you almost feel like these people don't understand.
I'm the only one having to face
So
this
to
kind of
say,
thing.
do you get?
Okay.
So in a situation like that, and okay, personally, my kind of person, I don't like when people are mad at me. Right.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Like, it can literally spoil my whole day if somebody's annoyed with me. So imagine a situation like that. Now, these people don't understand that you're trying to please God. So in as much as you want to help them, you know that if you do that, it's against what you stand for and what you believe. And everybody starts to speak bad about you, that this person is so wicked, this person is a bad person. So in a situation like that, what do? Do you take walks? Okay, what if rain is not even falling? So do you start waiting until rain falls before you feel better?
No,
so what do you do?
Okay, then I don't know the passage of the Bible that says, when I am confused, I will trust in God.
Okay. Okay. I think when I am afraid, right?
Okay, is
Is
that
it
it?
afraid?
Yeah, I think
I
that's it.
suppose. I think it was David. Was it David?
Yes. So, one thing God has used to help me so far, I'll say God has used to help me is there were times when I was younger and I had to be in that position. Maybe I'm not in that position right now, but positions where I was the only one having to stay in a particular, as in having to have this opinion, and I wanted to stand on it. And it is like, God, I'm confused. Now, one thing that has helped me so far is quoting Bible scriptures. So times like that when I'm confused, it's like, God. Or when I'm angry at people, or when it's like people are angry at me, for things I know that I am not at fault, I would say, I just say that word to God, God, please help me. It's something my parents have taught me, that whatever situation you are in, if you can say, God, at this point, I'm alone. Because at that point, you're alone, truly.
Actually.
And it's like, you don't have help.
Just like the three Hebrew children, that had to stay in the fire alone.
Exactly. That
And
faith.
it was, yeah,
That
right.
faith
And
was
it was
literally
like,
tested.
and it was like, okay, no matter what, even if we have to die, God, they just knew that they were not going to, go back on their stance with God. They were going to stand for the truth, right?
And
So-
every Christian has to get to that point.
Right, but it's not easy.
It's not.
That's why we ask for grace, actually.
It's not.
That's why we ask for grace, yeah.
It's not. So, okay. I try to bring Bible scriptures in my head
Very, very necessary.
while praying to God, asking Him for grace. Then, not to now praise myself, I am privileged to have a way to answer everybody. It's something I have discovered. If it's to talk to people on something, I always have a word to say that somehow removes me from a situation.
I feel like that's God, actually.
Yeah,
That's
it helps
God.
me to navigate a situation, except I put myself in that situation by myself. So, one thing is, you cannot get vexed at me. I will pray you back into being happy with me. So, if I see people are vexed with me, and it's not my fault, I'll pray you back
You
into.
will pray them
I'll
back.
pray them
Like
back
P-R-A-Y.
yes,
Like pray to God.
pray them back to love me. It's something I've been doing.
And it's been working.
It's been working.
Yeah.
I had this security man I'm sorry I'm diverging, and I had him in the school. In the library, he's always not happy. And I was like, come on, I'm not the cause of
Whatever
this
is
man.
wrong.
Exactly. I don't like aggression being thrown at me.
That's bad, yeah.
I was like, God, I beg you.
People
What's
that they don't,
this?
especially in Nigeria.
What's this? I don't like it because it makes me not happy. It can ruin it can ruin my whole day too. So it was like, I have to keep coming to this library and I'll have to keep meeting this man. God. You see, every time I come here, even if it's asked to any other person, it must not be asked to me. So what I do is every morning I make sure I don't do things he does not like. I make sure I greet him. If I greet him first time he does not answer, I greet him again till he answers me. If he answers,
That's resilience, yeah.
he will answer me. So at some point I discovered.
I'm sure you must have noticed over time
Exactly.
that this person is always doing this consistently,
Exactly.
and then you just be like, okay,
That's just the word. Like
Right.
he ended up, even if it was forcefully, he ended up that anytime he even ended, if I did something wrong, even if he had shouted, he would still gently explain
why
to me why he did what he did. And I'm like, yes, I know you're not my father, but I mean, I'm still a child. Please let me feel like I am also a human being. Because I'm a student does not mean I don't deserve that respect.
I mean, no matter the age we attain,
Yes.
in the sight of God,
So
we're still children.
that's how I just feel. So most times, if I cannot navigate that situation and I see everybody's against me, I try to go and meet everybody involved. Tell them this is my stand. I'm sorry. At some point, I will bring Bible verses. I'm a Christian, so in my conversations, and the Bible says, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with, so that you may know how you ought to answer every man."
Yeah.
Sometimes that verse rings in my head when I want to answer somebody, and it's like I'm going to be saucy if I want to answer the person. So it's like, God, my speech has to be seasoned with grace. And I need to know how to answer these people. And by the grace of God, I will say, it has been helping me. So times when it is like, God, I'm at this fix. God please, and I don't want issues with this person. God please, I need your help. And really, 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 yes.
God has always come through.
Yes.
Okay, so
You really cannot do life outside God.
Thank
That's
you.
one thing I need to add. You
I
cannot.
mean, that's like the summary of it all. Okay, so now this next question now that I'm going to ask you. Okay, so of course, last, we are Christian students
And we're humans.
and we're humans, right? So, how do you handle pressure from like opposite sex?
Pressure from opposite
Yes,
sex.
because whether or not you like it, you're a lady and you're a beautiful lady. I mean, by the glory of God, we are dating all over.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
so regardless of if you're a Christian or not, these things will always come. Whether if you like paste it on your forehead or carry a cardboard saying I'm a child of God, don't near me. They will still come. In fact, if it even gives them the more reason to even come near you, right? So thing is that we get to encounter these people in our everyday life. And they always come and bring up the, oh, I like you, you're a child of God, and I want you to pray for me. You see that particular tactic? I want you to pray for me. Oh Jesus. No, I want you to pray for me, I want to be your friend, and they are coming and they are coming and they are coming like that. And like I said before, regardless of if you're a Christian, you're also a human.
Yeah.
So sometimes, even consciously or unconsciously, our emotions, might, want to,
React,
yes,
definitely.
react to those things, especially if it's a very fine brother. I mean,
I know me somebody I've been admiring.
thank you. Maybe somebody, imagine you have been admiring somebody and then the person now comes to tell you that I like you. Hey, you want to first scream like, hey. You now remind yourself that, no, I'm supposed to be a child of God, yeah. So yeah, how do you handle like pressure like from the opposite sex? Because these people can actually be very, very pressing.
Yeah.
Like especially when they want something, they want to go for it. So how do you put these people like, I don't want to say off, but how do you like make them know that okay, yes, I'm not ready for this, but at the same time you don't I don't want to say push them away such that it makes you there are ways to these things. There are sometimes that in as much as somebody is being a pest, so to say, you don't necessarily want to like push the person away so bad, and then you seem very saucy and rude and arrogant and all of that. So how do you tell these people in a way that I'm not ready for this? Because we have them everywhere. Sometimes we even have them in the church. Supposedly Christian brothers. Supposedly. Last they are still humans, so I mean, God wired us that way. But so, how do you handle pressure from those brothers?
Well, we have no choice, definitely, and maybe at some point we'll have fallen victim of them. Because like you said, our emotions will definitely react, especially when it's a brother you admire. So how do you want to put off this brother? And maybe because you admire him, you've unknowingly given him that green light.
Right.
So maybe that was what gave him the
boldness to now
come
approach you, right?
and approach.
But sometimes some of them they don't need any green light. They themselves they are their green light. They don't need green light.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to push people off. That's one thing. So to be honest, I would say I like to hear what people have to say.
Okay. So when you hear what when it comes,
sometimes I laugh it off.
If just like that.
And now where?
Of course, if you laugh it off, they will always come back.
Definitely.
So
Definitely. Sometimes I avoid the cup topic. Okay. But yes, that is. I'm just giving you times when, and sometimes I talk it out. I let you know. Okay, I'm not ready for it. Or by the grace of God, you have a church where we already have rules and
right.
So
it's a simple come to my church.
Exactly. I mean, presently it's even my conclusion now. I mean, anybody that claims if anybody says they are interested in me now, it's not wrong. I'm not too young now, so for somebody to come and meet me. So definitely, by His grace, we have a church that would help it
Come and
to
see
be
my
easy.
pastor.
Thank you.
By all means.
Come and see my pastor. I mean, it has helped me to remove that pressure
Right.
for now. So if you say you're interested, please, my pastor is here. Then when you see my pastor,
That way, if the person is actually serious,
you go
is it
ahead.
that he will come and see the pastor, or he avoids that topic, or that's
Exactly.
a done deal?
Because I'll keep telling you, come and see the pastor.
Like, are you interested?
Exactly.
Okay, there's no problem. No, there's no wahala. Just come to my church and see my pastor.
Exactly.
Then we are fine.
Exactly.
And if the person is actually genuinely interested, I feel like he or she will be able to do that. Otherwise,
exactly.
that's the end of it.
And I feel the church, I just feel that's just the best.
Yeah, I feel like lastly, I want to talk about this. What's it called? I don't know how Nigerians collectively decided that the theme for this year was not good for anybody.
I agree with it, please.
So, what do you have to say about that?
I agree with it, please.
What do you have to say about that?
No good for anybody. You no go good for anybody. Please, you have to like have some strength in you not to good for anybody. And one of the things I was telling my friends this year is that not good for anybody is including yourself. Or you're part of the anybody you're not good for, because
Right.
if you say not good for anybody and you're good for your own self, they are definitely, no human is perfect.
Because I feel like most persons are actually taking this no good for anybody the wrong way.
Yes.
Like, I mean, all the memes that, although I know that Nigerians like to make a joke out of everything and just catch crews and have
You
fun
cannot
and
blame them.
everything.
It's to protect their mental health.
I understand, but I feel like all the no grief for anybody, so to say, that I've been seeing are all they are mostly negative. But I feel like there's a positive thing to draw out of the no grief for anybody.
True.
Like, I mean, when, say for instance, you have people around you that are toxic, and you know that these people are not helping you, this is the time for you to actually not grieve for these people.
It's even not great for yourself to remain in that circle.
Thank you.
It's
Right?
not great for yourself.
So
to
you
remain
pull
in that
yourself
circle.
out.
Exactly.
True. I feel like even say, as you're not grieving for anybody,
Your
as you're
first
not
is yourself. You're the first person. I mean,
like jinx. I know, right? So first off, I just feel like, in as much as it sounds funny and it sounds like a joke, there's everything positive to draw out of it. Like, I think I've seen posts on I think like memes too that where they say this year too. No, whether they said no grief for devil. Don't agree to the devil.
don't grieve for laziness.
Yes,
don't grieve for
agree to laziness,
prayerlessness.
prayerlessness. There are positive things that you should not, things that, should I say negative things? Yeah, negative things that you should not grieve for.
Yes.
So to say, like if your prayer life has been, not encouraging, this is the year for you to not grieve in quotes for prayerlessness.
Yes.
This is the year for you to not grieve for the devil when he comes with all his temptations and trials and everything.
And you say no.
Right, this is the year for you to stand your ground.
Yeah.
So I feel like every trend, so to say, that comes with negativity, so to say,
Has
we
its
can
positivity.
we can actually turn the table around and bring out the positive part of
True. I
that.
agree.
So lastly, Joanna, what's your advice to like young people out there, who sometimes feel so overwhelmed by pressure and they turn to the wrong people? Sometimes some people are so pressured that sometimes they turn to smoking. Some of them even go to drink because of the pressure, and sometimes they don't even know who to talk to, right? Some people don't feel like if they are going through stuff, they should reach out to people, right? They just feel like, oh, it's my thing, I can handle it and I'll be fine. So what's your advice to young people out there? Of course, we know that as the years are rolling and we are getting older, we are not getting any younger.
Yeah,
So
and the pressure is going to
yes,
increase,
the pressure is
definitely.
getting worse, the way they say it.
In different, it's evolving.
Right.
In different ways.
So what's your advice to young people, like that no matter how much pressure they face, like they should not resolve to
This one.
right? So what do you have to say to
I know it's very easy to say.
right?
Don't resort to drugs. Especially in this world where that it's now like a peer pressure thing. Everybody around you is doing it. Well, the truth is God is still God.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that thing they say, talk to God. Even when it seems like he's not listening. Mercy, he listens.
Right, he does. He sure does. Like
He listens.
I can testify to that.
He listens.
He does.
One time,
Even the minutest of all things, the things that we think that
True.
that are not necessarily important,
Yeah.
he hears them.
True.
He does.
Because one example I'm going to use is last semester, last session, I was reading and at some point I was tired. And I just started crying because I had called home already that I needed something and it was like mommy was busy to send it. And I was like, God, I beg. And the tears just burst out and I was like, God. And I stopped. As I was crying, I had already started discussing with God that God, please. It was like I was bearing out my mind to him. And suddenly I just started crying and I did not know why. I mean, it was just, as I was crying, it was just, I heard the alert on my phone that she has done what I wanted her to do. And I was like, okay. I mean, it was from that tear that I started laughing because it was like, God, okay. I could not even, I just have to say thank you, Father.
Right.
Because it was like, somebody just came to give me this hug I did not know I needed. And it just brought this peace. It listens.
He does. He sure does.
It listens.
Right.
Even when it is like you don't even understand what you are doing.
Right.
He listens.
Right.
Sometimes you will cry. Sometimes it's like he really does not listen, but he does. And when you are in
And
that
I feel
stage,
like maybe sometimes he just okay, there's a song that says it's not because he wants to see you cry, he's just teaching you to fly. So sometimes he makes you experience no problem. So sometimes he makes you experience certain things so that you can learn. Yes, to thank you. That's just the word.
we're going to pray.
So that you can learn from that experience. So I remember, in my last video, I talked about being given a responsibility, a leadership responsibility. I remember one of those days, I was so overwhelmed because it felt like I was reaching out to the people under me. I needed them to do something. But at that point, I could not oversee that thing. So I needed somebody to stand in.
Okay.
So I would call this person. This one would tell me that this one so and so. I called, and it felt like I was calling everybody, and everybody just had one excuse or the other to give. And I myself, it was almost exam period. I had assignments, tons of assignments that I needed to submit. I still had to read, and then I still had to handle that too. I mean, so it was very overwhelming. I had called, and when I called and felt like nobody was answering me, I think I started to cry because I'm like, God, I beg, what kind of thing is this? And last, I got there, although I got there late, but I was able to get there, and somehow God just took control. So it felt like at the end of the day, I was worrying myself over nothing. So in as much as I had reached out to people and some of them had said they cannot or they could not, God still raised other people. Do you get? He was still able to raise other people. While I was busy stressing my head out and crying over how God was. He just looked at me and he just just rest. And he just went and when I came, I had asked how did it go, and they were like it was fine, and I'm like. And I feel like I now started to cry all over again. Most later when I was talking to somebody. So sometimes we are so overwhelmed that even I feel like at that point when I was pressured, I don't think I prayed. But God just decided to just have mercy on me. Because if I had probably spoken to God about it, a simple Father help me would have gone a very long way. A very long way. In fact, I wouldn't have had to bother myself because I think at the end of the day, that assignment I was doing, I was not even able to do it. I was not able to finish it. Do you get? So sometimes we just have to just let Jesus take the wheel. True.
I learned it from my father, right? That man sometimes has different pressures on his neck. That God, I'm like, God, I don't think I'll do well if I'm the one in these shoes. And I see sometimes my baba just goes to sleep. So I agree with that verse that says he gives his beloved sleep. So sometimes you just go off. You drop every single thing and go off.
Because even sometimes I feel like we worry ourselves a little too much over things that are not so necessary.
Exactly.
Sometimes you can just tell Jesus.
Even Jesus slept in the storm.
I mean,
So who am I not to sleep
who
in
are
that
we not
storm?
to sleep? Who are we not
So,
to sleep?
I mean,
And we just carry the pressures of the world on our head, down on our shoulders, and it just feels like
Unfortunately, that's what causes this high BP and things like that. That is
God
like,
will help us.
Amen.
Honestly, God will help us. It's very easy to say, but it's very easy to say until you are faced
In that
with
situation.
until you are in that situation. When you are in that situation, you now understand that people are trying and people are going through a lot. Like a whole lot.
But when you rely on God,
Yeah, God. The
always
beautiful
comes
thing is that God never fails.
true.
He never fails. But one thing is that as God's children, sometimes we forget. We forget that our Father is able
It's
to.
unlimited.
Yeah, we forget and we just wallow in, whatever we are going.
Self-pity.
Still pity, wallow in whatever we are going through, and we forget that we have a Father. I mean, and God will help us this year.
Amen. Amen. Why am I the name the year of ease?
It would it's
That's
going
not
to,
good for anybody,
it's
but
going
ease
to,
at the same
It's
time.
going to be a year of ease for us
Amen.
in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So I'm just saying that we should cast our cares on Jesus because He cares for us. Like no matter what you're faced with, no matter the challenge, no matter I don't want to know what you are going through, and because I don't think that there's anything that we go through in this world that people of old have not gone through before. And if they could overcome, I mean, who are we not to overcome? So whatever you're going through, cast all your cares on Jesus because He cares for you. And no matter if the pressure gets worse, like the thing, even if the pressure is getting worse, our Jesus still has power. He's able to do beyond, what we expect, right? So whatever we are going through, whatever pressure we are faced with, from school, from work, from academics, our spiritual life, temptations, whatever we are faced with, we should just remember that Jesus has the power, and we can at any time cast our cares and our burdens on Jesus because He cares for us.
He cares for us.
He sure
Definitely
does. All right, Johanna, it's been an amazing
It's a big privilege. I mean, I see it as a privilege.
Right.
Thank you so much for inviting me on this.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing from your goal of knowledge and wisdom.
God, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to having you, in times to come.
I look forward
By
to
the
seeing
grace
you.
of God. All right, everyone.
Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really inspiring one.
Thank you.
One message is going places, please. So I assure you, this is not just going to be the usual. God is involved in this, and yes, He has a plan for everybody. He has a plan for you. He has a plan for you too.
Thank you so much. Bye.